Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we talk with Jesse McCurry, executive of the Kansas Sorghum Group. We get an update on an uptick in acres and other positives in their industry. We'll also have features from Kansas Corn, Kansas Wheat, and the Kansas Farm Bureau, and our weekly updates from the Kansas Livestock Association and Paragon Ag Advisors.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, KFB.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com.
In agricultural news from agview.net, big report came out recently as Kansas producers planted 6.1 million acres of corn for all purposes, according to the National Ag Statistics Service. Now, this is down 5% from last year. Of the total acres, 96% planted were biotech varieties, up 1% from last year. Area to be harvested for grain, estimated at 5.75 million acres, down 4% from a year ago. Soybean planted acreage estimated at a record high, 5.3 million acres, up 16% from a year ago. Of these, 97% planted genetically modified herbicide-resistant seed. That was up 2 points from 2019. Producers expect to harvest a record high 5.25 million acres, up 17% from a year ago. Sorghum planting for all purposes estimated 2.75 million acres. That's up 6% from the previous year. Area to be harvested estimated at 2.55 million acres, up 6% from a year ago. Oil sunflowers planted 50,000 acres, up 35% from a year ago. Harvested estimated at 47,000, up 47% from a year ago. The non-oil sunflower planted area estimated 20,000 acres, up 150% from the previous year. The harvested area estimated at 18,000 acres, up 147% from the previous year. Oats, 145,000 acres, up 21% from a year ago. That area to be harvested estimated about 35,000 acres, up 94% from a year ago. Barley, yes, barley in Kansas, 15,000 acres are planted, up 7%. The area to be harvested for grain estimated now at 10,000 acres. That's up 150% from a year ago. Alfalfa acreage, dry hay, 530,000 acres, down 16% from a year ago. Other hay, about 2.2 million acres, up 33% from a year ago. Now, cotton acres planted estimated at a record as well, 195,000 acres, up 11 points from a year ago. Winter wheat planted last fall, 6.7 million acres, down 3% from the previous year. Harvested about 6.4 million acres, down 2%. And canola, about 5,000 acres this year, down 83% from a year ago. About 4,000 of that should be harvested, down about 79% from a year ago. This was taken based on surveys conducted for farmers during the first couple of weeks of June, so lots of numbers there on what might happen this fall for harvest. And agriculture producers who have not yet completed that crop acreage report after their spring planting need to make an appointment with their local Farm Service Agency office before that deadline. July 15th, a major deadline for most crops, but acreage reporting deadline varies by county and by crop, so contact your favorite or your local FSA county office for those acreage reporting deadlines that are specific to your county. Now, due to the pandemic, FSA has implemented some acreage reporting flexibility so they can work with you to file a timely acreage report by phone, email, online, or even some virtual meetings. And some FSA offices are open for in-person appointments, but you need to call ahead to make an appointment. You can find more information on these and other ag stories online anytime at agview.net. We'll have more after the break.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Joining us, Jesse McCurry, who is the Executive Director of Kansas Sorghum. Jesse, always great to catch up with you.
How are you today, Ken? We're moving into the never-ending zone of Zoom meetings.
It seems like this is kind of the new way of doing things in the communicating, but this way we can stay socially distanced, if you will. But lots of things going on in sorghum, and also quite an honor for you. We'll talk about that as our interview progresses. But maybe let's first tackle a few days ago, USDA had a report that came out that showed planted acres, that what Kansas farmers did and are expecting to have come fall. And after a couple of year decline, sorghum acres are up now in Kansas.
We are up indeed, up 6% from last year. It looks like for all purposes, we're estimated at 2.75 million acres. And that's positive. It's interesting, that report has gotten a lot of attention. Obviously, I didn't realize this until later today on some of the unplanted, expected to be planted portions of it. But a lot of double crop going in the area. It's interesting to see where that might shake out. A lot of soybeans, but we're happy to be up in sorghum.
Right, and I think that's one of the things that talking to farmers as the wheat harvest really got going early. There was a lot of speculation of maybe some double cropping. And now as it's gotten to the central and working its way up through the rest of the state, and with those week or so 100-degree temperatures we've had, maybe some second thoughts, but it would seem to me that if that soil profile is there, sorghum would be a great way to try to get some in with those varieties and some of those short seasons that you could maybe gain an extra crop.
Yes, we've been trying to push that message out, Ken, particularly the sorghum checkoff on double crop considerations for grain sorghum is certainly worth a look. As you mentioned, it sounds like the soil is good in terms of the lower profile, but a little bit up top is starting to get drier. I was a little surprised on the drought monitor to show it looking pretty good in central Kansas. Starting to hear some complaints, and it doesn't take long with these hot, dry winds and 100-degree temperatures to make things look a little tough.
Let's also talk ethanol. That is coming back, and the sorghum playing a big role in that as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how we do respond as drivers, and how much less we were driving as we were Zooming more, and certainly would like to see people try to get out on the roads and try to help heal some of these ethanol plants who've really had a rough go of it. As you know, sorghum on average is about a third of our crop goes into ethanol, and it's a very important part of our industry and for those communities.
Jesse McCurry is Executive Director of Kansas Sorghum. He's our guest this week. Let's take a break, and we'll come back with more in just a moment.
The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com, and agview.net, serving the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt with reliable and relevant agriculture information. agview.net.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Our guest this week is Jesse McCurry, Executive Director of Kansas Sorghum. And Jesse, a few days ago as well, you received an appointment to a important committee that will have a direct line, if you will, to the Environmental Protection Agency director to make sure that he's aware of what's going on and the needs and concerns of agriculture and especially sorghum. So I guess first, congratulations on that appointment. And I guess what does that mean?
Well, thanks, Ken. I think it's a good example of if there's an opportunity, try to take a shot at it. Didn't necessarily know that I would make it in the final cut, but I was fortunate to have made it as well as another Kansan. And I'm excited to learn so much and to meet some of the other folks around the country involved in different segments of agriculture. You know, it's unfortunately at times EPA touches an awful lot of our operations lives from a number of perspectives. I've also already been reached out to by KLA and some others to get firmed up on some of the issues that they're dealing with. But generally, it's an advisory board. There's a lot of advisory boards like this across federal agencies. With COVID, it'll be interesting to see if we actually have an opportunity to go to DC in person, but I know there'll be a couple meetings a year. It's a couple-year appointment, and it hasn't been very active recently, this committee, so I applaud the administration for giving agriculture interests across the country a chance to weigh in, and particularly with sorghum, as you know, is a little bit of an interesting animal in terms of where it's grown and the issues that it faces and its opportunities, and so I'm excited to learn and be part of it.
Well, we look forward to hearing more about those developments, what happens, what comes out of it, and maybe not only what you learn, but can share with other folks around the country that have the administrator's ear. Well, Jesse, in our remaining moments, let's turn our attention back to sorghum and that export market. China obviously is impacting all of agriculture exports, and sorghum definitely is back in with that mix, and U.S. sorghum farmers very happy about that.
Yeah, sorghum exports are hanging in there, and that should be reflective in your local basis, certainly at terminal elevators and at some of the local elevators. I know we've seen that on old crop. I would sure like to continue to see that strengthen in new crop. You know, every week we're watching those numbers. We had a flash report from USDA last Friday, which is was a great sign for some added sorghum sales to China. In fact, we're working with the U.S. Grains Council this next week on a video Zoom presentation with Chinese buyers to help make sure they understand where we are in terms of growing conditions and staging and how our producers are feeling. But generally speaking, we still have a great product to offer that's competitive around the world, and we want to see that continue to hang in week to week.
All right, Jesse, if folks want to know more about what's going on with Kansas Sorghum, give them that website that they can follow along.
Yeah, come see us on our website at www.ksgrainsorghum.org. We're also on social media. Reach out to the office in Colwich, and stay tuned. We're pretty active out there on Twitter and all the other venues, and I'd love to see pictures, especially as guys are out there and are willing to share that along.
Jesse McCurry, Executive Director of Kansas Sorghum, has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more in just a moment.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
So we're really excited that we have partnered to really bring a new light to the ethanol industry, and we've started a new campaign called KANSANS Fueling Kansas, and it's under the umbrella of the Kansas Corn supported Fueled by Kansas initiative. That's a Facebook page that we have that is really the idea of getting ethanol information out to consumers. There's a lot of unknowns out there, and so it's the idea of answering questions for consumers and to helping support the ethanol industry as a big buyer of our Kansas corn. So this campaign with KANSANS Fueling Kansas is to really build off the idea that people really want to support local right now. And it's not just farmers that benefit from ethanol sales or ethanol plants, but it's a whole lot of folks in the supply chain across the state. And so we're working, the partner that's airing these on TV is out of Wichita, but we are covering a huge swath of the state to feature everyone. The first episode was a farmer, then we look at the trucking industry that hauls the grain to the ethanol plant, the plant that makes it, the retailers that are selling it. We also kind of give a stumped at the pump, how to understand what you see when you get to the pump, and really again featuring those individuals that because the ethanol industry in the state of Kansas, we can support them by just buying higher ethanol blends. Really focused on E15 as that's good for all vehicles 2001 and newer. So to find out more information, you can follow on our Facebook page at Fueled by Kansas or check out fueledbykansas.com.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
These days, no one can afford to take the risk of being without financial protection against high health care costs, not even for a few days. Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans offer short-term health care coverage to fill in those temporary gaps. Short-term health plans can provide you with medical coverage when you are between health plans, helping lower your potential financial risk. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
Faculty in the Kansas State University Department of Grain Science and Industry and Kansas wheat farmers are working together to donate wheat flour to people in need. According to department head Dr. Gordon Smith, the K-State president approved a plan from the department to manufacture and donate flour to our local and extended communities. Thanks to their support, the generosity of Kansas wheat farmers and the Kansas Wheat Commission, that mill run occurred the week of June 8th with a socially distanced skeleton crew of grain science milling faculty, including myself, Smith said. On June 18th, this flour was distributed directly to people in need in the parking lot of the Hal Ross Flour Mill, and the remainder was donated to local and state food banks. Kansas Wheat CEO Justin Gilpin says wheat farmers were glad to help support this project. Wheat is a staple food for many Americans, and this project by K-State helps put it in the hands of people in need. He continued, the Kansas Wheat Innovation Center is home to the Kansas Wheat Commission, located next door to the Hal Ross Flour Mill on the K-State North Campus. Kansas Wheat Commission and K-State Department of Grain Science and Industry have a long history of working together on projects for the wheat industry, combining stakeholder input with the department's flour milling expertise.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
My name is Jim Schmidt. I represent the 5th District as a board member on Kansas Farm Bureau's Vote FBF PAC, which is the voters organized to elect Farm Bureau friends. So Kansas Farm Bureau by its nature is a grassroots organization, and one of our key areas that we focus on is advocacy. And the goal with the Vote FBF PAC and the efforts at the county level to surface recommendations is to provide us with candidates both at the local, state, and federal levels that are friendly to agriculture, to farmers and ranchers across the state. So with Pat Roberts stepping aside at the U.S. Senate level, we've got a domino effect, if you will, of candidates that are looking to move into other leadership positions. We typically get recommendations from almost all, if not every county, through the CEC process, which is the County Evaluation Committees, and the 10 of us that meet each represent 10 to 11 counties, each come from our specific district, and we get together multiple times a year, depending on the election cycle, to discuss state level and federal level elections. So as the process moves forward with Vote FBF, the recommendations that come out will become public. We will share them with each of the candidates, and then those candidates have the opportunity to do a rollout with our endorsement. You've already seen that obviously with the federal levels, with Congressman Marshall's endorsement, with Jake Turner's endorsement, with Tracy Mann's endorsement, and you'll start to see that also at the state level, both on Senate races and on House races. So this year's a little bit unique because we've got all state Senate and state House representative races available for making decisions on. For your Vote FBF PAC board, representing Kansas Farm Bureau and the entire state and our grassroots organization, you've got a group of dedicated individuals in there who are sitting inside at the end of June with the sun shining and the wind blowing, and we all know where we'd rather be at today, but the more important thing is that we have individuals representing us and our interests and our votes both at the state and the federal level. So we hope that you all get out the vote, make your efforts to do advance balloting or mail-in balloting so that our voices can continue to be heard and we can get the right people in the right positions to continue to carry the water for us and make our interests heard.
No one plans to get sick or injured, but when life happens, it's important you and your family are protected. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans are there to provide continued health care coverage to meet your needs. Choose from a broad range of individual and family plans. And if you're over 65, we have options for you too. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
USDA's Risk Management Agency announced changes to the Livestock Risk Protection Insurance Program for feeder cattle, fed cattle, and swine starting this summer with the 2021 crop year. Changes include moving premium due dates to the end of the endorsement period, thereby putting it in line with other policies, and increasing premium subsidies to assist producers. Those with an 80% or higher coverage level will get a 5 percentage point subsidy increase. According to Risk Management Agency Administrator Martin Barbary, the changes will make policies more usable and affordable for livestock producers. The improvements are expected to be implemented in early July. Producers may buy LRP insurance throughout the year from approved insurance providers, with coverage prices ranging from 70% to 100% of the expected ending value of their animals. At the close of the insurance period, if the actual ending value is below the coverage price, producers will be paid an indemnity for the difference. Premium rates, coverage prices, and actual ending values are posted daily on the Risk Management Agency website. The agency is authorizing additional flexibilities due to coronavirus.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Good morning, folks. Colette with formerly Paragon Ag Advisors, now Pinion, a division of KACO ISOM. Well, what a report. Corn acres were reduced dramatically and bean acres were increased less than expected. So bullish numbers for both, with wheat even coming in slightly friendly on the acres. Corn stocks are higher than expected, with beans just below estimates and wheat just higher than estimates. Lots of excitement on Tuesday with the report, with corn rallying 15 cents and beans rallying 20 cents or so, and even wheat saw some gains. Corn and beans were able to continue the excitement Wednesday, and suddenly we're back at levels we haven't seen in 2 to 3 months or so. There will be plenty to pay attention to the next month. Weather, coronavirus, and the economy are at the top of the list. The dollar is still moving sideways, and many are slowing down their reopenings with the recent surge in COVID numbers. We'll still have a while before we see the true impact of the virus on the economies and businesses, especially if there's a greater yet resurgence this fall. Remember that the election is only 4 months away, and that will certainly be very important for markets going forward. There is plenty of opportunity to be had in the market. If you're wondering how to get started or need some help understanding the different tools available to you, give us a call at 888-452-8751 or visit us at kaco.com. I'm Colette at Pinion, and I hope you guys have a safe and happy 4th of July.
Well, that's our show this week. Be sure to be social with us online at KansasAgReport.net or on Facebook at Kansas Ag Report Television Show or Twitter at Kansas Ag Report. We hope you have a great Independence Day weekend. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com.